Venezuelan refugees versus socialist Mamdani voters. Crap, I can't even say his name right.
Are you excited about the socialist program?
Good to give it a shot.
I'm for it all the way.
It has so many policies that I believe in.
This is my friend Daniel, who escaped Venezuela.
Action.
Did you vote for Zoran Mamdani?
Of course.
Yeah. I canvassed for him.
Of course. There's a bunch of retards that live in New York.
The young people support him.
Mamdani's good.
Are you at all worried that he is a socialist?
Not really.
I think socialism is actually really good for society.
I'm a professor.
At NYU, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Are you familiar with how socialism worked out in other countries historically?
Just because it didn't work out so well in other parts of the world doesn't mean it won't work out well for New York.
I actually have a friend of mine here who fled Venezuela. He is a living product of socialism not working out in other places.
Came from Venezuela 9 years ago. It's the only country that was ever destroyed by socialists and democratic.
Venezuela, y'all got a lot of other problems to deal with.
The problem is we're
Well, exactly. Like, that's what's funny. It's like, oh, you have a lot of other problems to deal with. The problem is the problems wouldn't have existed without socialism being in place. Like, there probably is a situation where socialism could actually exist. But the thing is, it has to be working with the people, and the people have to actually have a say. They have a vote, which in the end means it's a democracy. And yeah, everyone treated equally is like something that's next to impossible. Like the socialist class would have to be the class of people who do nothing. They sit on their butts. They get like the prescribed military rations because they provide nothing to society, because machinery has taken over all of humanity, and the amount of people just don't have jobs to do. So there has to be a group of people that sit around and just get given stuff. That's just going to have to be the result with computers and everything starting to take over more of the jobs. But in order to actually get more out of society, guess what? You have to work for it. Everyone's given like this basic run-of-the-middle food, living, all that randomness. And in order to perspire for more, you have to actually do something for more. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. It's the only thing that ever made sense to me. It didn't work in 9 places. Why would it work in 10? Yeah, exactly. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. I don't understand how people keep pushing. Well, the thing is, a lot of people feel cheated in society, like they didn't have their opportunities, so they try hard and they want everything for free. The thing is, nothing is for free. Nothing is for free. You have to fight for everything.
by the socialist policy. My family went from making $2,000–3,000 a month 20 years ago to $100 a month in 2016. That was because the government gave everything you can imagine for free. Yeah. We went from being a normal middle-class family with a car, and then no electricity, no water. Mamdani actually thinks that Maduro was not a dictator, and 10 years ago he actually praised our rigged elections.
What specific socialist policies do you think led to that?
The government took over people's businesses, farms, grocery stores, factories. Do you support the...
Yep, everything was everything. You can't have everything owned by. You have to have people who own the means of production. It has to be the hands. Of course, that's capitalism. That has to be in the hands of people. It just has to. It can't be in the hands of government. Socialism only works if it is targeted. Yes, yes. If it is nationwide, like the British NHS, it may lead to collapse eventually, like a long surgery wait list. Quietly declining, not new equipment. Exactly. Like, it has to be completely controlled. You can't have, again, you if you want a socialist society, you can't have open borders. You just can't. Or anyone who comes in who doesn't come through the proper channels, guess what? Do it like China does it. You turn them into the workforce in order to provide for the people that are supposed to be there. You turn the people who aren't supposed to be there into a labor camp. Seems like the only possible outcome. The only possible outcome. If you are getting it for free, then someone else pays for it. Exactly. That's why eventually, with technology and AI starting to take more of the workforce, there will be programs put in place. Yo, Jay, there would be programs put in place for people. There just has to be. There would be programs put in place for like one meal plan a day. You don't go out and spend more money. Like, that's what I don't like about food stamps. People can spend more money on food than I can afford, and they don't work for a living. That makes no gosh dang sense. But it's just like I'm providing for society. I'm working a job. I'm doing what I need to do. This is the Venezuelan speaks to like Mamdani's socialist people, and it's just a lot of people don't seem to understand this stuff. They just don't. They like things for free. But the thing is, there will be like the NEETs, the people who are like the bottom of the barrel in like China or Japan, who are kind of just given the hand-me-downs because it's like they don't really provide anything, but you just don't want them to die off. So you give them the lowest of the low. They're given like you'd basically have a cookie cutter houses, not cookie cutter houses, but it's like people sleep in like a coffin, basically. That's how they'd have to live their life. They're given one meal plan. You have a skyscraper filled with the nobodies of society, the ones that don't really add anything to society. And then those who want to get something extra, guess what? They have to join the workforce. They have to actually provide something to society. That's the only way to make it work. Hey. MK Pro.
Proposal of government grocery stores.
Of course I do.
There was very little supply of chicken, toilet paper. There was a line for blocks and blocks for a grocery store.
It's all about money, my friend. Corruption.
Wait, why do you think the grocery store sells you food? For charity or for money?
For money.
That's not a bad thing.
What happened in Venezuela isn't gonna.
That's the funny thing. It's either you can have the power in the head of corporations or in government. In government. Oh my gosh.
The policy is more focused on helping people out.
Every politician would promise to help the people. Socialism means the government owns and controls the means of production. That is the companies, the businesses. Like Mamdani says,
It needs to go to the people. The people need to be in charge. It's just that simple. That's what capitalism leads to. Everyone has the chance to build and create their own company to, well, become the one in power. The problem is like there should be, like that's what needs to be put in place. There should be, like monopolies aren't allowed in the United States. It's illegal to run a monopoly, even though people do cut corners and literally own majority stakes in multiple different kinds of businesses that are exactly the same, or they're big enough to literally devour. Like you can look at like Microsoft, or like I guess let's look at Bill Gates, the crazy, you know, unwanted person now. Look at Bill Gates. He has like the majority stock in Apple, which is supposed to be its opposing brand. It was supposed to be Microsoft and then Apple. And then there's Linux, I guess, as well. But it was Microsoft and Apple who were basically at war. Well, the only reason Apple is still around is because Bill Gates ended up buying the majority share, putting in a ton of money, and he ended up literally a monopoly owner at that point. Isn't the capitalism is the rich guy making the company to control all, to make more money? Yeah. But the thing is, in capitalism, everyone has the chance. The problem is there needs to be put like a way to prevent these. It's never going to really work because in the end, it's just when you have enough power, you can always control the means of production and how things you have enough money to throw around. But it's always something worth thinking about. It's always something worth thinking about. And that's something I truly believe would be better, where you have people, anyone having the chance to make something of themselves, but at the same time, there's a certain point where they're either taxed more or they can't do any cheek cuts to make sure they get taxed back. I mean, or they pay less in taxes. Like that's what kept happening is like I worked at a location where all the rich people would donate stuff for like auctions, and then they'd buy it off the auction. Sure, they'd still pay a ton of money for like a brand new tractor, but instead of paying like $30,000, they spend like $50,000 because they buy 30,000. They buy it from the auction for 20,000, which is all that 20,000 ends up going to charity. Which the tractor for 30,000, the tractor for 20,000, it's 50,000 that they end up getting tax deductible. That they end up paying like $10,000 for a brand new tractor. That's just how they play the system. Have you seen the CIA whistleblower who's been popping off on social media? No, I haven't. His stories are so diabolical. Capitalism is also developing into cronoism. Yeah, basically monopolizing industries through unfair trade practices and political lobbying. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Is like they get so high into the point that they end up the one with the power.
The government will own the grocery store. 9 million of us escaped our country. It's the largest refugee crisis in the world.
Crazy. Wow.
There is a lot of opportunities to use the wealth of New York to help everyone else.
You know, they have tried that in the Soviet Union, from where my parents and my grandparents are from. All they remember of grocery stores is empty shelves.
Mamdani himself said that his goal is to abolish private property.
All of it. He's going to take everything.
We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership.
You want to live in a public housing? No. New York City builds less.
Yeah, you don't own what you have. Ford and Apple bought the eating the whole pie attitude in capitalism. Yes, exactly. Also, the built-in obsolescence is from Apple. They really designed that into their product, which is why I absolutely hate Apple. They kind of push that, even though it was kind of a thing. They pushed it way too far.
Total housing units than Austin, Texas, a city that is 1/8 of the size of New York.
We need a change.
But then the change that we need is one that increases the supply of housing, right? Not that one that will decrease it like Mamdani. And I fear that what happened in Venezuela, Maduro, president that was originally democratically elected, decided to give everything away for free, take people's businesses, for the workers, and then it all went bankrupt.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, it's so easy for socialism to take over because everyone likes everything for free. The problem is they don't know what they're giving up in order to get that freedom. A lot of people don't seem to understand.
Became very important.
Over 62% of young people and 66% of Democrats support socialism nationwide.
The Democratic Socialists of America,
Yeah,
you heard
yeah.
of them? You know Mamdani is a part of it, right?
Yeah.
The DSA went to Venezuela just last year to support the dictator and say that he won the election that he didn't.
I had no idea.
I did not know.
Do you think we should be supporting dictators like that?
Oh, no.
Government rent control. It's going to stop people from renting apartments because they're not going to.
Socialism just stops you from owning. It just stops you from owning. You become the have-not at that point. And the ones in power are the haves. And again, that's the things like power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, because it's hard for someone to ever actually stick to their morals when they see so much power on the table, so much money on the table for them to take and consume for themselves. It's one of those tragic situations. He will buy the private lands and sell to the highest bidder eventually. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. Which can be anyone from China to Qatar. Again, the U.S. allowing land to be purchased from non-Native Americans is insane. Is absolutely insane. The fact that you can come from anywhere in the world and you can buy land here is just insane.
Be able to profit. There are going to be fewer apartments for rent, and then we're going to have less opportunities to actually live.
That's a good point. I agree with that.
Okay.
I understand more about socialism now for sure.
Since we have had more free markets and capitalism in the world, billions of people have been lifted from poverty. And that every country that has attempted socialism, Venezuela, Cuba, the Soviet Union, North Korea, Eastern Europe, many countries in Africa, all of them became poor.
You've been through it in Venezuela.
Yes.
Why don't you move out of New York?
I already did, actually.
Oh, then awesome. Why do you care?
Well, I already moved out of my country too. You think people should just keep moving out as socialists destroy their countries and their
I mean,
cities?
if you don't like the policies that the government's in power are doing, then yeah.
I think my opinion might have changed a little bit.
I'll be doing more research. Thank you for sharing.
Well, I heard a great quote about socialism, which is, it's really a great system until you run out of spending other people's money.
With the rise of socialism in America, it's more important than ever that we have these conversations.
I'm Tanya
Yeah,
with the
these the people need to know. The people need to know. European level socialism cannot run in America because they don't have a war chest of Europeans built through colonialism, where in Europe also costs are rising because it is unsustainable now. It just gets worse. It just gets worse. Like, it can function for a few years, but eventually there's a turning point. There is an absolute breaking point for it. What's the difference between socialism and capitalism? Socialism means the ruling party is the one who dictates everything that happens, and you as a human being have no chance to own anything. Capitalism means you technically can at least still buy land, buy a house, own the house you live on. Sure, there are always ways for governments to take what they want from you, but when it's a capitalist society, it's more red tape, more money in your pocket. If it's socialist, if the government wants your land, it's theirs. It's already theirs. Bro, I wrote communism, not capitalism. Oh, sheesh. Okay, whatever. I stand by it. Thanks for clarifying. But yeah, honestly, I've never really seen much of a difference between communism and socialism. I honestly haven't. I know there's supposed to be a specific difference, but in the end, it's just, they're just as bad as one another. You
guys got a video? It's so bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait like that.